welcome. I am Carol V. Brown Jones, and welcome to Gigi United by Love. Gigi stands for grandmothers and their girls, and that girl means their daughters, their daughter in laws, granddaughters. We're going to throw in the grandsons as well, and cousins, sisters, nieces, and your good friends too. This is for you. That means all women are welcome here. I focus on the grandmothers because grandmothers are special, right? Most of you agree with me. On this podcast, I will share wisdom from wise women, family groups coming together and getting to know each other better, closing the generation gap. Women and some men with some good business tips for us and things that we need to know about. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you will share this program with your friends and subscribe to the YouTube channel and to this podcast. I'm ready to start. I want to remind you that I have started Tuesday Talks. That means that Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, you'll have an opportunity to be on a live Zoom call where you can hear my guests or I will share some thoughts and you can be part of the conversation. This Tuesday, I will have Joyce A. Barnes, who will share the economic Emancipation Monetary Fund. I'll give you a little clip and see what that's about. And come and ask questions, because this is a very important topic, as I will be sharing with you examples of the new Underground Railroad. This is one that you want to get on board.
Emancipation Monetary Fund. And the Economic Emancipation Monetary Fund exists to close the racial wealth gap and to help African American families build generational wealth. For $1 a month, they can access free lifelong financial literacy education programs, which are the foundation for financial freedom. But we know that wealth is not only money, it's also cultural. So the EEMF also invests in preserving family histories and legacies so that we can pass down our stories along with our assets. This is how it works. In the last census, over 10 million self identified African American households were counted. If each household invests $1 per month, every month we can build an endowment fund that will grow by $10 million every month, $120 million every year, and $600 million in 5 years.
Before we get started, I'd like to remind you that this podcast is part of my newsletter that I also have as GG United by Love on my Substack channel. So when you subscribe, you're subscribing to the newsletter, subscribing to the podcast, so you'll get notified when we have new episodes. I've been posting extra things lately. Everything's still free. January, I will start posting special invitations to things like the Tuesday Talk to people who are registered as subscribers. In the newsletter, you'll find some very interesting things. I have some beautiful children book authors who are sharing their books. You want to support them because these are books that will enhance and bring information to your young people in your life that you definitely want them to learn. I also have beauty tips, some beautiful hairstyles for the holiday. Check it out. There's some great things there. Comes out on Mondays and each week. Take time to look at anything that you didn't see before because it's there for you. Check out all the pages and stay connected. So please do subscribe. It is $5 a month or $50 a year, and they'll come to you and you'll be reminded. You'll be getting opportunities to hear all the beautiful conversations, have opportunities for extra events, and more. So join and let's be a part of the movement to bring our grandmothers and our girls united by love. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. You are about to meet the Montgomery family. And this is a beautiful family where I had the opportunity to talk to three generations. Beautiful. And at the end of the program, you're going to see the talent that has been passed on to a granddaughter of the Montgomery family. So stay to the end. You have a treat. I would like to introduce my guest. And today is very special because I don't just have one guest or two guests. I have a family. Let me introduce you to the Montgomery family. This is a very special program today. First, we have Aaron Nurse. Aaron Nurse is the great grandchild of Curtis and Eleanor Montgomery. He was born and raised in Tacoma, Washington. He's 31 years old and is now a licensed electrician. He loves his family, sports, and doing his part in the community. Next, we have Michael Montgomery. He's the eldest son of the late Bishop Curtis E. Montgomery, and he was born in Seattle, Washington, and raised in Tacoma and attended school in the Tacoma public school system. He's a graduate from Washington State University and Seattle University, and he has devoted the last 35 years of his life to school transportation contracts and operating systems. So for 15 years, he has owned and operated Curtis Transformation Services, a Seattle public school contractor, and he has provided transportation for thousands of students. He's recently moved his venture to primary student transportation in Kansas City Public Schools in Missouri. Michael has been an active part of church life, and he's a person of faith for his entire life. He has been working alongside his parents and family in church leadership, church business management, and ministry development for the kingdom of God. Next, we have Debbie Griffin. Debbie Griffin is the eldest of nine siblings born in Chicago, Illinois, to Eleanor and Curtis Montgomery. She moved to Tacoma, Washington when she was just 9 months old, with her father being relocated to the military service in Tacoma area. She was educated in Tacoma, Washington. And after high school, she pursued her career in business management. She worked in that career for 40 years, retired in 2022 from financial investment. She's a proud mother of four adult children, grandmother to eight, grand. She's a great grandmother to two. Since retiring, she has enjoyed dedicating her life to floral design for various events, volunteering at her church, supporting local charities, and spending meaningful time with her family. And next we have John E. Montgomery. John was born in Tacoma, went to school in Tacoma, Washington. He's a graduate from the University of Puget Sound. He now lives in Texas. He's in financial management, and he's also a minister. Next, we have Bethany, or B. Light Montgomery. Bethany B. Light Montgomery is from Tacoma, Washington, and is an Eastern Washington University alumni. There at Eastern Washington, she was on a full athletic scholarship for basketball. Unfortunately, she had to end her career in 2016 from playing ball due to a health situation. But she triumphed during this challenging time and earned a bachelor's degree in marketing in 3 years and a master's degree in business administration, an MBA, in 1 year. Now that Bethany has completed her formal education, she pursues her passion of poetry. She believes everyone should live out their dream and do what they love to do. Power to Poetry is an extension of Bethany's heart and soul. Her life's purpose is to eliminate all the darkness in the world by spreading light and love through the power of the tongue. Then we have Cherise Martin, who was born and raised in Tacoma, Washington. She's a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother of two. Shanice is a proud parent of three adult children, two college graduates, and one currently attending trade school. She has dedicated her career to serving the people of Washington state as a committed public servant worker, deeply involved in her community. She also serves on the Lakewood Public Safety Committee, contributing to initiatives that strengthen safety and well being for local residents. Okay, I just gave you the introductions to the Montgomery family, and now you get to meet them so that you can find out all about what's bringing this big family group together on this program. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Let's first meet Debbie. Debbie, I understand you are the oldest child of your parents, so let's hear from you first.
Yes, I have the distinct pleasure of being the oldest. Actually, I was the only one in the family not born in the Pacific Northwest. I was born in Chicago, Illinois. So my parents were high school sweethearts. My father was a football star for the city of in Chicago, Illinois, and was all city, and that's a big accomplishment being how big the city is. So he was a football star, and my brothers can probably correct me. I can't even remember the position he played, but my mother was a beautiful, shy girl in high school, and she said she never would approach my dad because there were girls all around him. And but something kept tugging at her heart to invite him to her church. Of course, she just never really had the opportunity to do so. One day she said she was at her locker, and my dad, she happened to just have an interaction with him and invited him to church. Of course, that changed the whole path of my father. Now I'll get back to me. I was 13 days old after they got married, and my dad was going to college on a football scholarship. And of course, God just changed his life. And so he was drafted into the military. That is how we ended up here in the Pacific Northwest. He ended up at Fort Lewis, Washington. My mother and I stayed behind in Chicago, Illinois, and lived with my grandparents on the south side of Chicago. I actually still remember that address, 9348 South Vernon, Chicago, Illinois. And I was 9 months old when he sent for me and my mother. So we came out here on the train, lived in Tacoma until my father got out of the military. And then we relocated to Seattle for a few years before coming back to Tacoma, where he started the church. So I feel like I've grown up here all my life. I don't really remember anything about Chicago. I've been back as an adult, but this is pretty much my home. But I'm the oldest of 7 boys and 3 girls. My dad had 10 children. And yes, we were just honored to be raised by such a great man and a great woman. Their legacy has just been one of those things that we just are so honored and appreciative to have, and just want to continue to pass that down to generations to come. Carol, I don't know if I answered your question. That's a little bit about me. I mean, I'll just say I went to Madrona Elementary in Seattle, and ended up, when my parents moved to Tacoma, we lived over the church, which at that time was the Little Cleaners. So then I only did 1 year at McCarver Elementary, which I understand has been renamed, and then went to Horseman Elementary, Stewart Junior High, and graduated from Lincoln High School in 1971. So that is, and then I started my career and administrative professional, and I worked for various companies and retired about 3 years ago from a financial investment firm in Seattle. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, great. While we're here, tell us about your parents. Why are we together today?
Well, we are together, and I know my daughter Cherise can probably really expound on that, but we're together here today because my father had such an impact on the community. Back in 1959, when he started the church, not knowing what an impact that was going to have on the community and so many lives that he touched. He was 27 years old. When I really thought about that and was reading, I thought, geez, 27 years old, that is quite an accomplishment for a young man. But he had a calling on his life. And so we are here because we have been able to come to the point where we're honoring them, honoring particularly my father, and renaming. Well, it won't be a renaming, but it's a more memorial naming of G Street from 19th to 21st, where the church is located, and also the Oasis of Hope Center, which was also a vision of my father and my brother, who has since passed, Philip. That's why we're here, just to tell a little bit about my father and my mother.
Thank you. Thank you. How about Michael next?
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to be here and to be able to talk a little bit about mom and dad. I think every day of my life since they have been gone, and it was some of the uniqueness of them transitioning both in 2015 and just 4 months apart. We really didn't really understand what was going to happen, but every day is truly an inspiration to me now that it's been 10 years. And specifically, I think I'm realizing how truly blessed I am to have parents like Curtis and Eleanor Montgomery. I'm so blessed. And the legacy that they have led for us, I think I'm actually experiencing every day. The greatness of their lives, the impact that they've had on me, the communities that they served, I'm actually realizing it every single day of my life. And I often say this, truly great people that are truly great, you will never understand their greatness and the impact that they had on others until they're gone. And I am truly understanding that. My mom and dad left very busy, active lives, and both trying to raise a young family and be involved in ministry. And one of the things that always sticks out to me about my dad and my mom, how they always had time for us. I mean, I think sometimes when you look back, there are some things that maybe you wished that they were there, but honestly do not remember that. I just remember them always being there. And now that they're gone, I think one of my greatest regrets that I have a long list. In fact, I keep a list of things that I would like to ask my dad and my mom. And that list is getting so long. I'm here in the Midwest and I'm not far from Fort Riley, Kansas, maybe an hour and a half. But my dad was actually stationed there. Debbie talked about Chicago. My dad was born in Alabama, but the family moved after the war. They moved north, first to Detroit, and then they settled in Chicago. And my dad was drafted right out of high school. He's getting ready to supposedly go to college and on a football scholarship. And he gets drafted. And of course, the Korean War was going on. But one of his duty stations, his first one was Camp Pickett, Virginia, was Fort Riley, Kansas. And I wanted to know where my dad went to church when he was at Fort Riley, Kansas. And I'm doing some research on that now. And hopefully I'll be able to give the family some really neat news because the oldest church in our organization is actually in Leavenworth, which is a place my dad always talked about. I don't know that he went there, but I'm pretty sure he went to this one church in Junction City, Kansas. So anyway, I don't want to be too long, but it's kind of exciting when I talk about my mom and dad. I can go on for a while. So thank you,
Well, that's beautiful
Carol.
to feel that way, and I hope you do connect down there. And well, I don't know if we can say down there in Kansas
Yes,
to find out the history. I'm sure there's some people there that can help you find that out.
yes, there are. Thank you. There are,
And
Carol. Appreciate that.
okay, John, how about you? Tell us about you, what you like to share.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I think this is really great having an opportunity to talk about two incredibly great people in my dad and mom. Really, I'll spend my time talking about them. I really feel like one of the roles that each of us play in our parents' lives is being custodians of their legacy and what they have left. And it's a large mantle to carry because of how incredibly vast the depth of their understanding, the depth of their knowledge, the depth of what they were able to do is just so powerful and so significant. So as a result, what we carry on through the legacy of the lives that they led it's a pretty significant weight. But it's one that I take on joyfully. One of the things that I'll say specific to their legacy is it challenges you because we, I think to a person, know that we sometimes don't do things the way that our parents would have done them just because of the excellence and the high level at which they dealt, specifically, for example, how you deal with people. I know that even through my personal life, my professional life, I have to lead with a lot more empathy than I would be naturally attuned to giving because I know that's how my parents would have acted and responded. So it becomes a challenge because you understand that you're not, especially when you're doing things on their behalf, that you really have to act not the way that you would act, but the way they would, because that speaks to the legacy of who they were. And I would say that's probably one of the biggest challenges because the way that they the way that they loved people, the way that they treated people, the way that they really operated at this such a high bar, it really in today's day and age, it really is a challenge. And but it's one that I take on gladly. It's one that I'm hopeful that I'm able to, in some small way, demonstrate that the blood of Curtis and Eleanor Montgomery courses through my veins with the things that I'm able to say and do. I'm not 100%, I'll tell you that, be crystal clear on that. But because I'm so focused on honoring them in what I do and what I say and how I act, it really becomes a powerful legacy that just lives on. My parents have been gone for 10 years now, and I will tell you specifically that I don't have a whole lot of sad stories to tell you about these last 10 years. And the reason why is because I celebrate my parents every single day. Every single day since they've been gone, I tell stories about my parents. I have brought my parents have been in conference rooms in large organizations because I'm talking about them. I'm bringing them into my discussions. I'm telling stories that my dad has told and giving him credit for those stories. So for me, I feel like part of the overall grieving process for me, and it's been one of the reasons why I haven't felt like I've had to grieve them in their loss, is because one, they lived such incredible lives, and then two, I just spend my time talking about how great and wonderful these two people were. And Michael and Debbie alluded to earlier, I'm just humbled to be raised by these people. to have been their child. That to me is one of the great, it probably is my greatest claim to fame, is that I was raised by Curtis and Eleanor Montgomery. Excited. I will say this as a final comment. This legacy of this street renaming is something that is, it's really a cherry on top to really who my parents were. But I just have to give such a huge debt of thanks and gratitude to my two nieces, their granddaughters, Antoinette and Cherise, who really spearheaded this. And honestly, this wouldn't have happened without them. And that they had the will, the tenacity, and the presence of mind to see this happen is just really great. And it's a great honor to my dad and to my mom and to this family in general. Thanks for the time. I do appreciate it.
I appreciate all of you. I'm going to just put a little bit in here because what you just said just touched my heart because my program is all about how important it is that we realize the legacy that we have to leave. And you're feeling the legacy of your parents is a gift. It seems like a challenge, but it's totally a gift. Not many people can say that they were brought up in a family of 10 kids with two dedicated parents that you felt like they were always giving you the attention and the love that you needed to become the people that you are now. And it's a blessing to be able to speak to all of you. Who's the oldest grandchild?
That would be Charisse.
Cherise. Well, I'm gonna leave you to last, Cherise, because I want you to expand.
Well,
So
then Bethany's next. Get ready.
My name's Bethany. I am a grandchild of Bishop Montgomery. So again, 10 kids, right? Comes to a whole new state, doesn't know anybody, decides to start a church, builds it from nothing, not very wealthy, able to impact. I would say my grandfather probably directly impacted hundreds of thousands of people, like absolutely directly, and indirectly millions for sure. Then multiple grandchildren, probably like what, 50 grandchildren, and then multiple great grandchildren. So just literally because of his drive, determination, discipline, passion, and faith, he's been able to really establish a legacy and impact so many people, like that are in his direct bloodline but also not in his bloodline. And I think that's very powerful, just to be so driven in faith and just believe that things will work out. His story is very powerful. I feel like many people can be inspired because you can really do anything you put your mind to, and with God, right? When you put God and you put discipline, you can really accomplish anything. And his story is just amazing, that the fact that because he decided to listen to God and sacrifice, that a street's being named after him. And like, in the totality, the streets not even the big deal. The big deal is all the souls he impacted, all the people that he helped, that he encouraged, that he preached to, that he counseled. People coming to him not knowing what to do in bad situations, and they come talk to Bishop Montgomery, and he gives them his wisdom and his knowledge and what God is telling him to say to these people when they're in their time of need. And I think that's what it's all about, is helping people, right? Life is very hard. Life is very difficult. And I think it's easy to get lost. And it's nice to have people who can help you get back on the right track and who can encourage you and guide you and lead you. My grandpa was a leader. He was a leader, and we need leaders, right? To accomplish things, you need strong leaders. And so he was a strong leader, and I'm just grateful I was able to learn from him. And at the time, I didn't even really realize it because I experienced my grandpa when I was a child. He died when I was 20 years old. So I really remember my grandpa probably from age 10 to age 20. And so that's a pivotal time in the development of who I am. And now that I'm 30 now, I realize just how he moved as an individual. I remember I would just drive and he would go to 3 banks. I'm like, Grandpa, why are you going to 3 banks? Why don't you bank at all the same places? But now I understand the importance of having relationships with bankers because they can help you get money, right? And so just having a relationships and connections in the community And my grandpa, he didn't act like he was this super important man. Like he didn't have an ego. And I think a lot of people have ego when they have prominence. And he never had an ego. He was literally one of the most humble people I've ever met, and he never turned anyone away. And so that really always stayed with me. And so in my own personal journey, I've decided to go on a path where I help people and I encourage people. And I consider myself like a community activist. I do a lot of work in the community. And I think I was heavily influenced by my grandfather. I just am inspired. And I hope that people are inspired by who he was, and not even necessarily the accolades that he accomplished, but the person he was, and how he literally believed in his faith. He walked by faith, and he practiced what he preached. A lot of people don't practice what they preach, but he genuinely practiced what he preached. And he wasn't a perfect man. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but he really tried his best to be a man of God and help people. And that's what it's all about.
That's beautiful. So do you have a poem that you would like to send me to include this with this podcast that I know you're a poet. I don't know if you've done anything about your grandparents or honored them. If you do have anything, send it to me and I will include it in this podcast.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right. We have Aaron. Thank you, Bethany.
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, my name's Aaron. I'm 31 years old. I'm the oldest great grandchild of the family. And since I'm the oldest, I grew up with my like Bethany, she's a grandchild, and everybody in our age in my age bracket, I'm a great, but I don't call my grandparents great grandparents. So you'll just hear me refer to them as grandma, and grandpa. But I'm an electrician. I have two state licenses with Washington and Oregon. I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and everything that I do on a daily basis, I silently appreciate them on a daily basis. Everything. So growing up, my dad was in and out of my life, and that makes you lean on your family a lot more. And as I'm older, I realize that more and more how much I did lean on my uncles and my aunties. My grandparents, they had a glorious standard, and that poured down into their kids. That trickled down into their grandkids, which are, and I just want to say, sorry, I'm freezing up. But I just want to say that the standard that they set, I find myself following it, even though it wasn't directly in front of me as an adult to follow. And it's weird, but even just yesterday, I had an issue at work, and I could have handled it a whole different way, a more earthly way. And I really just found myself holding back and being mature about it. And I just don't know sometimes where I get these things from. And I credit it all the way up the chain to the standard that was set, especially by grandpa. But yeah, this whole gathering that we're doing is very special between the streets of 19th and 21st. It's very big. I can remember as a kid going to Wednesday nights, and me and all my cousins, including Bethany, would be there playing basketball with gang members from the area. And I would remember the basketball courts and all this fun being had by people who are looked at as bad people, but they came to the church to have fun and to stay safe for a weeknight. And that impact to me on the outside looking into their lives was huge. They couldn't wait to come every week. There was so much youth involved, development and growth that happened in between those streets because of the ministry and because of everything that went downstream from the love of our grandma and grandpa. And yeah, I think I'm done here, but yeah.
That was beautiful. Just imagine
All right, Aaron.
that the great grandchildren feel the same legacy, that love, that God, teaching how God is the one to follow and to listen to. And it's just beautiful. I just love it. Charisse, your turn to tell us about yourself and this big project that you and your cousin have started, initiated.
Yeah, my name is Charisse. I'm born and raised in Tacoma. I'm 46 years old, mother of three, grandmother of two. And I'm working on this project with my older sister, who is the oldest grandchild of Bishop and Eleanor Montgomery. This all came to fruition. I cannot take credit for how this all came about. It literally came to me through a vision. I had woke up in the morning, as I normally do, and didn't have my coffee yet. Everything wasn't functioning the way, but that's how I knew it was coming from a higher power. And I heard, get the street name, G Street, this Montgomery. And I just started to weep and to cry. And I did feel that I was going crazy. So I didn't tell anyone because I just thought maybe people would judge me. And I said, I'm absolutely not going to tell anyone. How could this even come to fruition? This is too much of a heavy load. I'm just going to keep this to myself. I think I ended up telling my husband and then my sister. I was on the phone with her. And that day I could not hold water. I just told her. And I said, do you think I'm crazy? And she says, absolutely not. And if we are going to do this, then we need to do it now. And so that's how it all came about, was a vision from God. And I'm so thankful that he entrusted me with that vision and gave me the motivation and equipped me with everything that I need to get this done for my grandparents.
What is the process to get the street changed? A street name dedicated
Yeah,
to somebody. I'm gonna just ask you to tell a little bit more. Like I said, not everybody knows anything about Tacoma. The name of the church, how long it was there, and also some of the services that they have provided. We found out about the Wednesday where the young people could come and play ball, but tell us a little bit more about that.
yeah. So it's Greater Christ Temple Church. It initially started as Christ Temple on G Street. And then the more members that they got, my grandpa had changed it to Greater Christ Temple. Michael or mom, someone chime in. How long have they been established?
Nin 1959. That, what does that make? 60,
Six.
John 66 or 67,
I hate to say
68?
it. I was going to say 6, 7, but good God,
Yeah, I think next year is going to be
six,
67.
year will be 67.
Actually, this spring, 60, 67 years
Yeah.
the church has been established. Yeah.
Okay.
We probably touched over those years. I know Dad used to talk about this. The church during that time, his pastorate, and which is almost 50 years, just shy of a couple months, but we'll just say 50 years. Someone said about all the lives that I think Bethany, that Dad has touched, but we baptized over 5,000 there over during those 50 years. And I'm so blessed to be there for a lot of those baptisms and just a remarkable ministry. Now that we look back, I think about the chosen generation, and I'm here in the Midwest where great music people, but the chosen generation, we're on a map, a national map. I come here and people know about chosen generation. They know about members of our family that are in music, and a lot of all of that has to do with the foundation that was laid with dad and mom. So
Is the
yeah,
Chosen
the church.
Generation a program?
I'm sorry.
The Chosen Generation you mentioned, is that a
It's a choir. It's a
okay?
youth. It's a youth choir. In fact, I was telling someone here we had 4 choirs in our church. We've had more, but we had a young people's choir, youth choir, which became this. And Johnny can talk more about that because that's really his origin. And then we had the young adult choir. I talk about our senior choir, because my dad was a good Methodist. and my grandparents were Methodists. He sang in the choir, and so when I hear that choir, reminds me of those of all of those great memories of music. And we have a lot of great music people in our family, and God has just blessed us to have multi-talented people in our family that can do all kinds of things. I mean, just we're just so blessed, Sister Carol.
Great,
But
great.
anyway,
And
Okay, Sharice, now you can tell us how you got this process going.
Yeah, the city of Tacoma requires for us to go out and get signatures. We've been on boots on the ground, me and my sister only, getting signatures of property owners directly. So we need 67% of property owners directly on G Street, and then 50% of property owners within 500 feet. And this also includes not just physical houses, but also parcels of land. So that's been a challenging as well, looking up who owns different parcels of land and things like that. My grandpa was very much into real estate. So he did buy up a lot of that land that is on G Street, including some housing up on Yakima, Tacoma Avenue. So he definitely was a real estate man and investor. So a lot of that property is his anyway. So that's pretty much what we had to do. And it's been so awesome talking to the neighbors. Oh my goodness. And that's how we met, Carol, at Mercy Housing, and you and Maddie. And that was just a divine moment running into you. And I'm just going on about my grandparents. And the whole time I didn't even know who you were. So
Didn't matter. I just loved hearing what you were saying because I didn't know your grandparents, but I have been to Oasis of Hope for activities and meetings and things like that. And so I know that's part of the church's buildings and community center. Right. Who's the minister at the church now?
that would be Bishop V. Johnson, Prentice V. Johnson.
Okay, but he's not part of the family. No ministers in the family?
Michael is, and
Okay,
as well.
okay.
And I have
John,
who is
Gil,
Daniel, who's a pastor of Abundant Life Community Center in University, Washington.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Beautiful. So door to door, you have boots on the ground, like you said. Okay. And I'm sure there's plenty of stories. So what's next?
So next is so there's a couple of different projects that we envision. Of course, it's a scholarship at UW for those who are involved in social work. So we are looking to raise $30,000 for those in the social work. So those who want to donate, please feel free. My grandparents were very passionate about higher education and going to college. And a lot of our family members have degrees and they've gone to trade school because that passion comes from my grandparents. My grandmother was a teacher, and that's always been drilled in our head. And I didn't personally go to college, but all my kids did and got degrees. And now that my kids are raised, I definitely want to go back just because that's just it's in us. That's what's next is the scholarship. We're very passionate about that. And then also we're doing a Grit City newspaper article. We're partnering with them to get an article on my grandparents as well. And of course, the celebration on December 27th. So those who are in the community, you guys are welcome to come at 11 o'clock on December 27th as we celebrate the honorary street renaming. And the mayor will be there as well.
So is that going to be at the church, to meet at the church, or this is where they'll meet at the church? Okay.
At Great Temple Church on 19th Street.
Okay, beautiful. Love it. What else is going on? So the scholarship, is this the first year for the scholarship? Is this new?
No, the scholarship has been established. Mom, is that 2010? I believe it's been.
yes, John, did we do it around the time that Dad passed? I know we started.
Actually, the scholarship itself was established before Mom and Dad died.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
In fact, yeah, Dad started it with a donation that he had made, And I think that was right around the time actually I moved to Texas. I want to say I was probably like 2009, 2010
Mm.
timeframe. So it's been on the books now going on 16 years.
So you've helped a lot of students already.
We have.
That's beautiful. What type of fundraisers do you usually do? Just asking for donations or?
That's it. My sister and I have talked about doing more of a formal type of event around, but one of the challenges with that is you put the resources into an event and then all the resources go to that event and you're not raising you're not raising any money. So in lieu of that, we've just been making asks in a very organic call and respond type method. And I think once we get to a certain place and level, then yeah, doing something around the gala event, auction type deal, and maybe down the road. But I definitely think this would be one of the great things and great legacies for them to leave behind a significant. I'd like to see us putting a dozen, 2 dozen students through college based solely on this scholarship, and I know that can be done.
That is so beautiful. I don't know. I'm sure you all don't know because it's brand new. But my new book is Get on Board the New Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman's spirit is guiding us to love and actions. And you all are, I love to highlight groups and people who are demonstrating what the new Underground Railroad looks like. And this family is definitely conductors on the new underground railroad, because it's all about how we come together to support not just our families but our communities, and that triples out and that just rolls out more and more impact. Like you say, your parents have touched lives, thousands and thousands of lives, who go on to touch others, so numbers continue to increase, and that's beautiful. So that scholarship is another example of their legacy going on for many, many, many years, because those graduates are going to touch other people. And I always will be able to say that the Montgomery family made this possible for me or helped me along the way.
Yeah, I would say like Harriet Tubman, a person that I think history has shown she was led by this fearless courage, this incredible commitment to lifting other people towards freedom. I think that same spirit my dad had in spending his life guiding people towards spiritual, personal, and spiritual development, spiritual well being. And it's really kind of with that same type of quiet strength and leadership that I think definitely there's that common thread that runs between both Harriet Tubman and my dad and my mom as well. I think in addition to that, even this scholarship is also a way of pulling others out of whether it be poverty, whether it be a desire to, because it is a scholarship in social work. So for those who have that desire to help others, to pull others out, I think it really aligns quite nicely. Something that I learned after Sharice had told me that Harriet Tubman would be a part of this conversation, just understanding and seeing a lot of the parallels between not just my dad and mom's life, their legacy, and then also through the scholarship. I just think it's really a really great opportunity to reflect and think about who history has shown to be just really great people, and specifically Harriet Tubman and certainly my parents.
Right. Your parents definitely had the same spirit of Harriet, and so do all of you all, because Harriet died in 1913. She was born in 1821, 1822, and we're still talking about her, and we're still writing books about her.
Yeah.
That's your parents.
Oh,
That's your parents in the future. So
thank you,
you're all
Carol.
very blessed, and I'm so happy that I could be just a little bit part to help tell your story, share your parents' story, and hopefully get a beautiful support with the scholarship and people coming out and celebrating the legacy and the street renaming. And it's been just beautiful to talk to you all. Does anyone have anything else you want to share? And Bethany,
Carol,
I'm
thank
I'm,
you.
I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
for a poem from you.
Carol, thank you for having us today,
Yes.
for allowing us to share this with you and others on your platform. It's it's indeed an honor, and I am so blessed for what I can't wait to get my hands on your book. I was blessed to be in Washington or Baltimore, D.C. for almost 7 weeks. And one of the I did many neat things, but one of the neat things I did, and I'm telling all my friends, if you haven't done this, you need to go to the African American History Museum in Washington. It is, and I was blessed because I was there the day before it shut down because of the government shutdown, and I was blessed. And one of the highlights for me was the Harriet Tubman tribute. And it's so well done. I said, you don't even have to be a black person in America. If you are a person in America, you will have to do yourself a favor and visit that museum. And it's so well done. I was just so impressed. And of course, when you said we have to learn something about Harriet Tubman, I said I was there. I was there at the exhibit. And I mean, I know there's others across the country, but the one in Washington at the museum is absolutely top level. So thank
I've
you,
heard
Carol.
that. I haven't been there yet either, but I've heard that. What I do with Harriet is I try to help people realize we all have some of Harriet in us. I mean, it's all it's her self-love. I say she couldn't have done what she did if she didn't first love herself, to
Yeah.
believe that she had the right to be free and the courage. And then when she got free, she could not be happy knowing that her family,
Right.
who was still suffering in slavery, and that was wasn't just her immediate family, it was her extended family, her community of people. And that's what I just love, sharing people's story to show people that we know we're many of us are doing that today. And we just need to unite and celebrate each other and support each other. And we will make the changes that we want to see. We can do it. And
Yes.
so thank you very much, Montgomery family. And
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
very nice.
I am part of a tribe called the Warriors of Light. We use positive energy to spread good vibes.